because the car maintenance allowance remains, maximum of 356,000 shillings. The mileage claim remains. Is there a maximum? No, it's saying 116 shillings per kilometer. If you're beyond 700 kilometers, that is 350 to and fro, then it will be calculated based on the actual distance. Any specific problem with that?
Well, it is good to underscore, Sam, that the last 4 parliaments, SRC has had a trend of reducing benefits and perks to members of parliament. And they do it quite cleverly, that they wait until the sine die recess, when parliament naturally prorogues. Then they bring in all these changes. Whereas when they know that there will be no one to make noise around them. And they also know the attrition rate in this country, which this is the first time that we have had the least attrition rate of members of parliament. We usually have 75% of members of parliament go home. And that gives, SRC some kind of consolation that the 75% newcomers will not make as much noise. This time, only 51% went home. And I do not understand. Probably we served much better than those who've been there before. But the SRC has always taken this trajectory. Some it is good to underscore the point that PSS, the principal secretaries, fall under the same job category as members of parliament, going by the computation of the government. Now, if you have a principal secretary with a government vehicle, with a government driver, with a bodyguard, with a house allowance, and all those good things that come with their offices, yet we fall under the same scheme and we have none of this. You remember when we brought up the issue of house allowance to members of parliament, SRC refused to have that on our pay slip. And they didn't have any reason. So again, they came to the mortgage. And there is always a misconception. A mortgage is a loan on housing. And SRC had a very big problem with this until the leaders of the House had to intervene. I mean, this is money that you are given and you pay back. And what is the problem with that? So SRC must be on a mission that we do not really understand. Again...
But Honorable Okelo, I mean, surely, because I'm comparing the Gazette notice of 2017 versus the 2022 one, including the allowances for committee sittings. A chairman was getting 8,000 shillings per sitting. Now it's rising to 15,000. If you look at the transport compensation, that time it was up to 375 kilometers, so double 750. But the monthly maximum allowance was 266,000. This time around, it's up to 353,000. So is it really fair for you to be attacking a commission that has actually enhanced your benefits?
Well, they say the devil is in the detail. Whereas they would want to paint a rosy picture. And by the way, the 710,000 is the maximum under which a member of parliament can be paid. That is there. So they chose to get the maximum. But listen, whereas people tend to make a living out of other things, such as the sitting in the house, the per diem when you travel abroad, because again, you don't expect me to travel to a place like America, for instance, and expect a member of parliament to be sleeping in River Road equivalent in the US. I mean, it also feeds into my security and all such of things. They have reduced per diems by half. So whereas on this other side, they would want to appease you that they have enhanced it to the maximum. On this other side, you have actually lost. So what they are simply saying, don't travel abroad for any discussion, for any meeting, for any training, stay here at home. And today we are having our induction in Safari Park. People gave proposals such as, what if I operate from my home? Do I necessarily have to stay in Safari Park? They said you have to stay in Safari Park, otherwise you take care of yourself. I mean, these are the details that are missing in this kind of arrangement by SRC, which we will be looking into with the leadership, as our speaker has said, going forward. So the question that we will also be asking...
What is your new per diem if you travel to America?
I think it was, before it was about 80,000 shillings. It has now been brought down, I hear, by half.
Yeah,
to 50. Yeah, to 50.
I cannot find that detailed in the Gazette notice.
Yeah.
It's in a memo.
It was a memo, sent to Parliament.
All right.
But I wanted to add this, that we shall also be asking if SRC needs this budget that we allocate them.
That's intimidation. You're supposed to facilitate. Honorable Kuria, your take on this and the true picture, because comparing the Gazette notices of 2017-2022, it appears that you actually have a better rate of remuneration than before.